internet friends. Some of you are in the shadows, just in the stories, having a little peekaboo. Others engage. Others are becoming amazing friends. I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I've just finished a really good workout and I'm working on my flexibility. And this is the flow wave that popped in during the workout. And I thought to myself, does an inflexible body link in to an inflexible mindset? Are the two things connected? Because I'm in my studies learning so much about the water matrix or the fascia, and we're made up of, should be more than 70% water. Some say 80. Let's be honest, we're all dehydrated. And if you've been sitting here for any length of time, you must know that I'm talking to you about water holding an imprint of your vibrational energy, aka your emotions. So have a look at Dr. Emoto's studies. Water that's been prayed over or blessed or even meditated into with great intentions, looked at under the microscope, holds incredible crystalline shapes, cymatics. And water that's been cursed or spoken to harshly, you look at that under the water, under the microscope, and it's chaos. The actual water changes structure. It holds a visible imprint of whatever's been thought about, whatever's been spoken into, whatever's even been meditated into the water. The water holds consciousness. So I'd like you to think about this now for yourself as 70 to 80% water if we drink a lot of alcohol, if we have a lot of coffee, if we're incredibly acidic, if we're drinking soft drinks or even energy drinks that are presented to us as healthy, we are dehydrating the cell. All of these acidic things take water out of the body. And so we've got less to play with. Can you see then how you're much more easily manipulated if we're holding the same level of concentration of light body emotions into a lesser amount of water, how they might become more potent. So I love how the ancients, they're all about stretching in the morning. Most cultures are, or Tai Chi, yoga, lots of different methodologies from the Eastern cultures. And we have implemented a lot of those things into the West now. But when I think about Jacob wrestling the angel, the thing that really struck out to me in that story is the dislocation of the hip, because I know that that's where we hold fear in the temple body. And so if you're trying to access a heavenly state of mind, you have to surrender fear. And don't we run to all types of addictions in our subconscious programming to just cover up these feelings that we're suppressing in our temple body? And a suppressed emotion is still creating chaos even though you're not conscious of it, because we're here to experience consciousness. We're here to understand as spiritual beings what it feels like to be connected to God and separated from God. So the poles of that are love and fear. So I'm looking at the modern lifestyle. It's sitting, watching TV, it's not exercising, it's running out for takeaways, it's not even moving to cook anymore. In the ancient times, they would plant a garden, which involves a lot of physical work. And so they didn't need a gym. Yeah, they're exercising just to eat. Or they're hunters and gatherers. You know, however that looks for whatever culture it was, there was movement involved for the preparation of food. There was love put into the food. When we go to a takeaway store now, I can't imagine that there's much love put into it. A lot of it's done just cheaply and to get it out and make profit margin, and so greed has taken over. So if you're struggling with any pain in your body today, I'd like you to lean into the pain like I was speaking to you about the other day. I was struggling with a bit of sciatica and I realized that the pain was speaking to me. And it's very funny how expressions evolve, but I really feel like, you know, if we say someone's a pain in the neck, frustration could present in your neck if you are stiff-necked, if you're not willing to see things from another point of view. If the pain presents in your knees, then You may be not willing to bow. You may be separate. You may be struggling with a few control issues if the pain manifests in your knees. If the pain is manifesting in the lower back, maybe you're not feeling supported. And so the pain manifests in the lower part of your spine. If the pain manifests in your fingers, like arthritis, maybe you're gripping on to things too tightly. I believe that our bodies are speaking to us with intelligent magnificence as the temple of the divine. And how do I know that? Because your body is connected to your subconscious mind. It's one and the same. Your subconscious emotions are held within the organs, and we forget that the skin is the biggest organ. And what is the skin made of? Cells. Cells hold water, right? So the water within the cells, if we haven't shifted to a higher vibrational state of thinking, or we're masking feelings that we've pushed down, we're masking them with things that make us, we're going for this pleasure state, a cover up. I'm going to cover it up with sex, I'm going to cover it up with drugs, I'm going to cover it up with booze, I'm going to cover it up with scrolling on my phone, instead of sitting still and doing the inner work. This is where the divine says, be still and know. Know that you are loved. Know that the divine chooses to live within you. But the divine doesn't want to live in that messy, messy vibration. The divine requires a crystalline temple, and that means getting your water matrix and your fascia back to original state. And so our bodies are incredible at being able to heal themselves. Now I'm diving into some quantum coaching, and I'm taking on a mentor myself so that whatever I learn I can pass on to you. And this is what I learned in my first session, that sickness, only 5% of sickness is due to genes. Now, how many of us are making excuses for it to be genetics? And see, when we make an excuse that's technically not even scientific, we don't do the work. And so the body, your beautiful body, was designed to move because energy is stuck in it. Energy is stuck. Now I want to show you something quickly. I'll just see if I can turn my phone around. Stretching poses for the ancients, they create star shapes. Let me show you. I'm hoping you can see that there. Let's see if I can flip the phone around. I just have to figure it out here so that I can see at the same time. Okay, here we go. So every time you move, your fascia is stretching and you are creating sacred geometry, actually. And this is back to light body. Your light body is directly linked into your star, your energy portal, seated in the heavenlies, already there. Now, I believe that if we stretch and move the energies out with breath work, breath too connects us into another aspect of water. This is why breath work heals us. Tonight we will be executing some pranayama breath work in my sound circle. If you haven't got a ticket yet, I would love to host you here. And so we'll start by moving the energies through the body, leaning into whether or not we have emotions stuck. Now, on the weekend at this quantum healing that I went to, I'm still shifting stuff too. My whole body with the breathwork activity was shaking and shifting. I was crying. And it's a resonance that you may not be able to process in the moment, but we're doing it to clear our temple bodies, because we were never designed to hold pain like packing things into a suitcase. We were meant to just feel it, face it, and release it back to God. We then are meant to breathe in and take God essence back into us. Spirit flows on breath. And so just for that teeny bit of chaos, for feeling and experiencing how it feels to be separate, walking through our darkness, we should know that we are tethered by the silver cord, which is on the inside of your umbilical cord, tethered back to heavenly matrix. But how many of us have been wandering around in circles, hitting repeat buttons, meeting the same demons in different pots, not consciously getting into a mindset where we can be a little bit flexible and see things from another perspective. Because if you are doing things the same way over and over, you are not in flow state. Now, when they talk about yoga poses, they talk about flow state. When they talk about painting, a creative musician or a painter will get into flow state. This is where you don't watch the clock. You're having so much fun. You are just creating, and I get like this when I'm making things online, and I look at the clock and I go, oh wow, it's already 11 o'clock at night, and I didn't even feel like I was working. I'm just having fun with it. I'm just co-creating with spirit, and just, yeah, I've stepped out of the slave mentality. I've stepped out of the clock. Now the clock, Chronos, is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the deity for matter state, aka body. I believe this is why Christ said, put the net on the right side of the boat. Now, what if I said to you, my friends, you are the boat, and the right side is alluding to your right brain, your right hemisphere of your brain, your feminine side, your creative side, your emotional side. Instead of running in the old program, how many of us are kind to ourselves? How many of us only see our flaws? How many of us have a repeat button on something awful that somebody else said to us, and that's become a loop or a pathway, a neural pathway, and we're meditating on that, albeit sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, but if it's still there and we haven't processed why that hurt us so much, what in that is affecting my energy field, we will act on that without even being aware of it, and we'll end up with acidity in the bodies. Now, what happens to an apple if you leave it out on the bench? GMO is going to last a lot longer because, you know, they've figured that out. That's why they coat them in all sorts of things. But you leave a true apple that you've plucked off the tree, an organic apple, out on the bench, and you leave it there, it should rot. It should rot rather quickly. Now, we're, not to get too gross, but they're digging up bodies that aren't decomposing because of all the chemicals and the toxins in them. Now, these chemicals and toxins, I believe, we attract them to us because we're holding toxic emotions. We are inflexible for seeing things from another perspective. The ego loves to think, I know it all. You don't know anything. I'm not interested in what you have to say, Michelle. I am focusing on memories and belief systems that I have created. But guess what? You didn't create those. Every single belief system that you are holding was created up to age 7. And your biggest imprint happens before age 2. And so that's a lot that we can't even remember. Can you remember your childhood? I can't. I can't remember what my parents were saying. I do recall later in the years that all it was fighting. And so I have an imprint of chaos that I need to shift. And nobody's going to rescue you in this. You have to do this work. A lot of us are waiting for an external savior. And if you are tempted to be trying to rescue others, that's because the inner child in you needs rescuing. So saddle up and jump into courage and leap out of the 3 energy centers within your belly, climb up to heart space, which is where love and courage start. Excuse the background noise. And learn to be flexible. Learn to flow with the spirit. Learn to release. Whatever we resist persists. And so lean into the pain of these emotional. Pain actually shows us where we need healing. Your body is so intelligent. So the water matrix, this is why I choose to have the best quality ionized, alkaline, hydrogen water. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about hydrogen water and how I've linked hydrogen into Yod He Vav He, the frequency of God's name, I put up a little video on my website. Go have a look at it. If you're interested in learning more about alkaline state, this will show you there as well. And I'm really grateful that you're here, that you are ready to make some changes. We don't have to struggle. We have struggled for long enough. You could turn around today if you just dive in. Just make a conscious choice. I'm going to dive into the emotions that I'm afraid of. There's no shame in that. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to breathe it out. I'm going to make some beautiful decisions that equal love. So if I love myself, I'm going to choose to eat healthily. If I love myself, I'm going to choose to eat less. If I love myself, I'm going to move. Now, the first time you start moving, if you've been sitting on the couch, I have no judgment for that. I've done it too. Yeah, when we're depressed, we're stuck. We're frozen. It's our nervous system needs some healing. Yeah. What does a bear do or a lion do to make the subject freeze? It roars, right? So when you roar, we're stuck when we're afraid. And you've got to move. You've got to choose to move. You've got to move whether it's painful. You won't make progress without stretching beyond your capacity, right? I'm teaching myself to get really flexible. When I first started doing this, I was very inflexible. So too was my mindset. But if you've ever done any type of athletics or sport or weightlifting, you know that it's mind over matter. Right? The mind will deceive you. The mind is connected to the ego state, the subconscious mind programming. When I started lifting heavy weights, I would hear, oh my gosh, this is too hard. I'd hear the voice in my head. Yeah, we've got voices in our head because we've got different aspects of ourselves that we're working with. And I would be like, oh my God, just quit. You can't breathe properly. You're tired, rattle, rattle, rattle. But if you learn to step into flow state, we do this using breath work, breathe, we're oxygenating the blood, and you'll be able to lift twice as heavy, run twice as fast, and just start small, right? A muscle has to be flexed in order to become strong. It's exactly the same for your emotional state. Feel into it, and it comes off in layers, and the same voices will kick in. Oh, don't go there, it's too painful, it's in the past, you've already dealt with it, you've already forgiven that person, it's okay. Like, try and make excuses to keep you stuck. It's the ego's job to keep you stuck, but it's the spirit's job to have you flow out of that and recognize that you're a beautiful light being just having a temporary experience in a body that links to Saturn. Now, when you look at the planet Saturn, it's bound, right? I'm going to say to you today, what is binding you, my beautiful internet friends? Is it anger? And behind that anger, a layer of sadness. Is that what you're masking with your distractions or with your pornography? Are you masking the fact that you're seeking love, but you're avoiding intimacy? If you'd like a session, reach out to me. And if you cannot afford one-to-one yet, we're working on the mindset of abundance. And then jump into my membership. Tomorrow's session starts at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's just $33. And if you're really broke, reach out and I'll add you in for a week or two, just so that you can get a feeling of how it feels to be supported in a loving community that are all trying to help self. Step into right brain thinking and reprogram your beautiful water matrix, because the waters need your storm to be commanded to be still. This is how we walk on the waters, just like Christ did. We walk, our spirit man walks upon the waters. Our spirit is ruling the body now, not our traumas. I hope this really helps you. I'd like to finish today's chat with a few showstoppers that will prevent you from flow state, and they are this. Physical problems will prevent you from flow state, but physical problems aren't forever. We are designed to heal self. You can heal self even just with meditation and breath work. Sound helps escalate it, amplify it, make it happen faster. Mistakes will be showstoppers. The inability to maintain focus will be a showstopper. So we need to slow down. We need to be intentional. We need to close a few files in the conscious mind, because energy flows where attention goes. We need to change our mental attitude. We need to avoid multitasking. Now, I am a reformed multitasker. My husband used to joke about this, that, yeah, you get a lot done, but none of it's done with exception, because every chapter's open in the book at the same time. He's right. I confess he's right. Negativity will be a showstopper. And audience response can be a showstopper unless you're running in flow state with faith. A lot of my videos don't get a lot of interaction or likes. I do not let that stop me, because I run my whole business by clients that book in without hitting a like, without sharing, without saving. And that just blows my mind. So do not let engagement stop you from your sacred purpose. Just keep going, and know that the ones that you are reaching with these beautiful quantum messages are healing the people that are willing to receive. They're ready. They're sick of the old. And they're ready to develop this new beautiful body state, this new crystalline state, this new wineskin, to receive the flow from heaven. It's pouring in, guys. The light body is activating back to original state. Get ready to catch it. You have to catch it with an open, courageous, loving heart space. Sickness, I'll reiterate, is only 5% due to genes. And I'll tell you a secret. You can alter your genes using prayer and meditation. Isn't that fantastic? You are an incredible quantum computer that's designed to heal yourself. Stop playing small. I love you. Let me know if this helps you, and I'll catch up with you soon. If you'd like a ticket to the Sound Circle tonight, let me know. I'll save you a mat. We will be working with breathwork tonight, sound frequencies that are healing, and I'll be reprogramming your subconscious mind with a guided meditation. It's my favorite night of the week. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m, Mastermind online. If you'd like the link, reach out to me. If you are struggling to pay the $33 per month, just let me know, and I will let you in for free for the next 2 weeks. And know that I love you, and that your healing really matters to me. I am showing you how to heal yourself. You're amazing. You are a daughter or a son of the Most High Creator. Go on, create.